Okay, so now this is my favorite part. This is where we look at the word count. And where we're at. So now that I've seen it, right? We've seen all of season 1, which was the Eye of the World.
Yeah.
So what's everyone thinking for season 2? Are we just gonna start blending these 3? Remember, there's some stuff from book 1 that might get shifted over into potentially a season 2. They had a little bit of new spring content. We're sort of further along with Logain. We're like way further along with Lan and Nynaeve's relationship. I would say Perrin's powers are even a little bit more developed. Rand's going off to the IO Waste. That's like, we're over here area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to answer your first question, and we'll get some comments rolling in here just about the next two books, The Great Hunt and The Dragon Reborn. Again, there's been some interesting conversation already about it. Do we take Rand over to the IEO Waste as he goes on his great walkabout, or do we keep him in a pursuit for the Horn? It feels like he's going to depart and maybe go do what he does in the Dragon Reborn, or he starts at the Great Hunt to kind of say, hey, I'm out, like, peace out, he's gone. Perrin and Mat are doing their thing. So maybe there will still be that conversation where he gets roped back into the hunt for the Horn, but there's really no, like, the dagger is taken or what. There's no pot on Fane. There's no connection to, like, helping his friend Mat in this, because Mat's back in Tar Valon. So to me, it makes a lot of sense that he would just go do his thing, and Perrin needs to have his moment because he witnessed all this. Loyal gets stabbed right in front of him, and what, Perrin? Nothing. So I feel like, he's got to go.
Loyal's dead, look how much we could trim out. I mean, how much is Loyal in these?
Yeah.
Actually, I think you can view here by, they have this thing's so cool here. They show you like it's like some sort of ridiculous breakdown of like everything you could ever want to know about Wheel of Time. It's got like everything. So it's like nationality, word count, like how many words. The fires of heaven, some women join a circus. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
The fires of heaven is my least favorite. Is my least favorite book. I thought that maybe they showed you like how often a character was in it, but I guess not.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways, back to just the idea, like the Great Hunt and the Dragon Reborn combining those, I think is doable. And I'm with you.
I'm actually starting to think even more, man. We might be pulling even more into season 2, because before we saw episode 8 where Rand said he's going to go off like by himself, my thought was Padon Fane steals the Horn, and then it's okay. The hunt is going on after him, and you send Perrin off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I almost felt like you could start to begin to pull Perrin White Cloak stuff that takes place in the Shadow Rising book 4, because they have done a great job of building the White Cloaks up, and maybe that's Perrin's arc in season 2. But now they've shifted it around. So I think, especially since they gave Perrin the sort of stare down with Padon Fane, I actually think Rand is going to be off by himself next season, much like he is in The Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
And I think Perrin is going to be the one leading the hunt for the Horn next season.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that works. And also, like, if Rand does do anything and he does go anywhere into the IEO Waste, you could then weave in some Shadow Rising stuff. I mean, you could start to kind of do something if you wanted to.
Even Fires of Heaven stuff. As crazy as that sounds.
If you want to get some IEO stuff, like prior to them leaving. Yeah.
Maybe, in all honesty, maybe I don't know, man. Maybe next season they don't end with what we've thought is the Dragon Reborn, Tyr, and Kalendor. Maybe you move that back here, and maybe your big sort of season 2 for Rand,
Couladin,
is he actually fights Couladin and kills him.
Yeah, man, it'd be crazy.
And then he's got the Aiel army at his back, and he's not just the Dragon Reborn. He is he who comes with the dawn.
That would be interesting. We are thinking like Falma, Tyr, in season 2, but it could be season 3. And then, like you said, you shift some stuff around. And if he goes on a great walkabout and he goes into the IO Waste, could do a lot of that stuff while everyone else is still doing their thing. And Perrin's leading the hunt. Matt's going into Camelin. It might be too many people in two different places. I'm not so sure if it's too much. But yeah, just a think tank here, you know?
Yeah. Skip the Great Hunt. It's pointless. Go to tier and merge it with Falma. Kalendor is good enough to confirm Rand. Yeah. But it seems like where they're going is that Rand is going to be doing Aiel stuff. And yeah, that's books 4 and 5. So maybe Rand is doing stuff in season 2, like book 4 and 5 stuff. Yeah, Matt doesn't have to go to the Aiel Waste. I have no idea what they're doing with Matt next season. I guess
Matt does just hang out with Rand for a while, and it's kind of just crazy, right? He's just
so chilling. I'm gonna have to say this is what I'm starting to think. I think you're gonna move everyone into sort of pairs next season. I think Matt is likely to do stuff with Tom. Matt and Tom will meet up. And even though a lot of their stuff is like happening here, you'll shift it to here where they're like, I want to get out and go do our own thing. Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine will be at the tower training. And I think that's where you can start to do like the lore building. Because it's like going to Hogwarts. Okay, we're going to learn defense against the dark arts, right? And what the dark arts are and why they're important. So I think that's where you can sort of do a lot of your world building, lore building, explaining why the bad guys are bad and why we should be scared of them. So I actually don't expect much from the girls next season outside of that. I do think, and somebody had a comment here, that we will begin to get some more Leandrin stuff going on and Suwan gets sacked. I do think that's going to happen. And then she's going to move into like trying to find Saidar in season 3 with possibly Logain and Min. I think Min will show up at the tower next season.
Wow.
There's
so
a lot.
Much.
There's a lot. Season 2 is going to be big. The big questions is I don't really know what Moraine is going to be doing. Moraine's like the what? Moraine's the one that's like, I have no idea what she's going to be doing. I can see sort of a path with everyone else, but I don't see a path with her except trying to get healed. Maybe this is going to sound crazy. Maybe Moraine's goal next season is going to be like totally off book. And she's going to be seeking out someone who she thinks she can heal her. And it's going to be, what's her name? Casdane or Cadsuane.
Yeah. Okay. Something great, like bringing her in.
Like
yeah.
Totally, like just total different.
Guys, who was the cat? There was a casting. I always say Katsuane's. I always say her name wrong. But I think it was a casting confirmation, or that people were talking about an early casting for her, which would be pretty wild. You know, the other thing I was thinking is that maybe just like Pot on Fane, you got to pay Rosamund Pike quite a bit of money to do this, but still, maybe she just pops in like Pot on Fane in episode or 2. You're going to see her just like for 1 or 2 quick shots, and she's just searching, doing something. And at the end, she's there to help Rand with a couple of Forsaken, and she's leveled up in some way. Who knows, right?
Are they gonna do Snake and Foxes? I don't think so.
See, I don't know. Like, I actually thought if Moraine was stilled or she needed to learn something, that is a place she could go for some answers. I don't know. That's and I also thought Matt, like, he's gonna get there at some point. He's gonna get the Foxhead medallion. So yeah, I don't know. Moraine needs to. Yeah, well, she needs to run into Tom.
What if they totally change it and Matt? But I guess Matt could go with Perrin on the hunt for the horn.
Yeah,
and the dagger.
Yeah, he could because he needs something to do. You still need to put people, like you said, in pairs and put them in groups. So it's a lot to think that like Rand is going to be on his own. Perrin's doing the hunt for the horn. Matt is going to Tarvalin, then to Camelin, and then Egwene, Nynaeve are at the tower. Moraine is on her own. Swan, you know, this is why it's always been such a daunting thing to say we got 8 episodes. Hopefully we have 10, by the way. Hopefully we have 10 episodes. You know what I mean?
There's an online petition for it. Yeah. Will we get to see Rand's sword fight with the Shan Lord in Falma move to tier?
Yeah, and see, that's a really cool moment where he becomes a blade master and stuff like that. Like, these are all things that are really going to be on that board. Like where and how do you do these things? Is it going to be a different Blade Master? Maybe like someone was mentioning that the events of Falma or the Shanshin could be dealt with by someone else, and maybe who ran and Moraine are fighting in Tyr. Is maybe he fights a different Blade Master or something.
Yeah. Rand will need boot camp before fighting a Blade Master. I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. We haven't seen any of that.
It doesn't. We really haven't seen any of that. And then I don't know. I guess maybe Rand's gonna. Is there a Blade Master over there in the Aiel Waste he's gonna train against? I mean,
yeah, no, yeah. God, people would lose their mind if Aiel started to, like, if they did something like that. Like, they'd lose their mind.
I mean, I guess you could maybe show him training with them, like hand to hand, like combat, because they're so sweet. Even though he uses a sword and they use spears to just sort of level him up, and then you could introduce, and then that would sort of, I guess, show him a little bit as just like, okay, well, he's been training with these guys. That's why he's a hardcore warrior. But then later move into Blade Master.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you guys looking at the prophecy to figure out what's going to happen? Well, they haven't really introduced the prophecy, so we're
what
just
prophecy?
We're looking at what exists in the books in the near future that we can kind of move and entirely shift around to try to make some.
Yeah, this guy's been
the
on
only
it
thing
all night. He's been on it all night. No prophecy in the show. So what's the point? I mean, it's true.
The only thing we know is we're past season 1, and this is where we're at, and we have all of this to go.
Yeah. And so there are things, we were talking about the Forsaken earlier and Fires of Heaven and Ravine and some of these things that you could kind of merge and move around or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a lot. I thought we had the Great Hunt and the Dragon Reborn down, consolidated, until I started going through all the characters and was like, what the heck are you going to do? You're going to introduce Farron, but like Moraine's just going to be a cameo from time to time.
Well, I was on board for it until I still kind of am, but the problem is Rand, right? Is that now Rand going off on his own throws everything in.
Let's talk about something that I think, so will they completely ignore Galad and Gawain? I'm going to come back to what Matt was just saying there too. So the idea, look at Loyal. Loyal was kind of majorly, I think, not shortchanged, but like, well, close to it. Like,
right.
He's a big time character, but yet not big enough. He's not one of the Emmons Fielders. He's not a Taviran. He's not he's our Ogier representative. And you've got these guys like Galad and Gawain who are big and who are huge and who are important, one to the White Cloaks and then one to Egwene, and they will matter. But can you bring them in yet? I mean, do you have to maybe wait? Do you push this further down the line? If you're going to bring in Elaine, why not bring them in at the same time? You know, it's
right. I mean,
the cast is growing.
They brought Loyal in at roughly the same spot. He kind of serves the same purpose in book 1 that he does here. Like, he still helped them navigate through the ways. Really, Loyal to me is like he's much bigger in like book 2 when they go to the steading and
which is everyone's saying cut. All right,
it probably
will. It won't be as.
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of the stuff with the Ogier is just going to get cut.
Yeah, like I feel like,
I mean, Loyal's already got cut by Padon Fane in the stomach.
Yeah,
because he got stabbed. You know, he got cut. You get it? It's a joke, as.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
sorry.
My bad. Yeah. So let me just real quickly, just in recap, go over a couple things. And I'm just going to list these characters off, and then you got to think of pairs, who they're going to be with. You've got Rand doing his thing, Perrin possibly finding the horn. Matt is still in Tar Valon. You've got Egwene and Nynaeve back in the tower. You've got Suan is there. All the tower people can be, condensed. Moraine's doing her thing. Varen has to be introduced. I feel like that's been kind of largely confirmed. Fael's going to get woven in here. They might meet her along the way. Min is still around. Elaine has to be introduced. Galad and Gawain. Yeah, and Fael. And
Fael's not
even.
When does Fael show up? Book 4? I don't think we meet her till book 4. Right?
It's the Dragon Reborn.
Is it in the Dragon Reborn?
You guys correct me if I can't remember.
Is it in the Dragon Reborn we meet her, or is it in Shadow? No, I think you're right. I think it is the Dragon Reborn we meet her, but then her and Perrin get married in Shadow Rising.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like their big moment.
Yeah.
And then there's characters that we're assuming are already cut, like Elida. And that
Yeah, right.
Leandrin is just going
Well,
to be, and
Matt,
that Leandrin is just going to be Elida.
Matt, then there's the unexpected thing. Like Alana was like huge in season 1 with her warders, and they're gonna keep her around. And I'll just say this: like, not that her role is not significant, but it's kind of secondary to Varen for a little while. It becomes significant when she attaches herself to Rand, but yet she's
Elias.
dude.
I think they've already said Elias isn't happening.
He's out. He's out. Here and the Sniffer's out. Elias is out. The Green Man is out. Okay. Do you think they had just a list of characters and they said, cut, cut, cut? You know?